the show. There.
Saucing on you. I'm swagging, oh. I'm ballin', I have a song on you. Watch out, yeah. I smash out, yeah. I'm spending on my fucking pay. I got me some braids and I got me some hoes. Started rocking the sleeve, I can't buy with no jaws. You know how I do it, can close on my toes. This shit is hard. Oh, I ain't rich yet, but you know I ain't broke, So if I see it, I like it, buy that from the store, I'm with some white girls and they love them to coca. Like they OT, double OT, like I'm KG, smoking OG. And you know me, in my 2-3s and my gold tee. Bitch, I'm smiling, bet you seen me from the nosebleed. I'm the new 3 and I change out to my new D. White Iverson. When I started balling, I was young. You gon' think about me when I'm gone. I need that money like the ring I never won. I want saucing on you. I'm swagging, oh. I'm ballin', I have a song on you. Watch out, yeah. I smash out, yeah. I'm spending on my fucking pay. Ooh, stunning. Cigarettes in a hairband, commas in my hair, man. Slumped over like a dead man. Red and black, but my bread, man. I'm the answer, never question. Lace up, learn a lesson. Bitch, I'm saucing, I do this often. Don't do no talking, my options right when I walk in. Jump on them Jordans, I'm ballin'. Money jumping, like I'm Davis from New Orleans. Oh, bitch, I'm hardin', I don't miss nothing. For practice, this shit just happens. No, y'all can't stand it, I have it, I never pass it. I wear my magic, high average, ball on these bastards. It makes me happy, it's tragic, I make it happen. And all y'all shacked in. White Iverson. When I started balling, I was young. You gon' think about me when I'm gone. I need that money like the ring I never won. I want saucing.
And Nasty. Host Randy Chevrier and Sheldon Napashta guide you through great stories that spark great conversations. Two really big guys talking a big game. The boys are locked in and ready to go. Welcome to the ride.
Yeah, welcome to the ride, everybody. That was a little harder than it was supposed to be for episode 105, but we figured it out and we made it, and I see a lot of you guys made it too. So
wait a second. Are we a 10 o'clock show, a 10:30 show, or a 10:10 show?
I think we're officially 10:12 now.
Yeah, we're 10:12. And you know what? We had some people here like that were super early. I think we might have lost Ernie and Diane. They were here. They might not have clicked on the new stream, but technical difficulties happen. If we were recording the show, we would have pressed stop. We would have started recording, and it would have been released on schedule. But because we're live, shit happens, and it happened tonight.
Yeah, and Trey. Apparently, it was a double click, one of those like misclicks. And you guys, I think a lot of guys on here, know that situation. You're growing out your first mustache for the first time, and it's getting a little bit long on the one side. It builds some neck fatigue, which goes down the shoulder to your click finger, and so let's blame it on Trey's mustache that has survived long past Movember.
One, and it obstructs the airway. It's not trimmed. And if you've never had a mustache before and don't know how to breathe properly with facial hair,
Sure.
it can
Yeah.
it can affect the oxygen intake. And once the oxygen goes, you have very little time to function properly and live. Like, for all we know, Trey might actually pass out during the show producing. He's already pressed the wrong button and caused us to start. It's like those astronauts that go into space when they're low on oxygen. They start getting delusional and they start hallucinating, and they do things that they shouldn't do. And Trey's an astronaut out in space, trapped out in the land of the country with not good internet. He's embarrassed. He's embarrassed. Trey, we're just blaming your mustache. We're not blaming you, so don't worry about
there
it.
There you go. Kurt Panu says, "What's up, boys? Kurt, glad to see you could join us." Kurt, I got a story for you too. You actually inspired me a couple of weeks ago when we had that phone call. I'll tell you about it later. Real message says the Canadian Ed Sheeran needs to focus. Focus up, Ed Sheeran.
Focus up. We're talking to you, Ed Sheeran. See, we could do the Rubio. Listen, guys, we're brought to you each week by Performance Freight Management, We Drone Real Estate Media, and YYC Business. We're going to get into a lot tonight, or maybe not, but the number one thing on our mind that happened between episodes last week is that Oilers fans' prayers everywhere, I guess, have been answered. No, they did not win a Stanley Cup, but
they beat the Penguins.
I don't know if beating the Penguins was the prayer. Beating the Penguins was not the prayer. They beat the Penguins, but we'll talk about who they didn't beat. But it's the trade. The trade heard around northern Alberta. Stuart Skinner traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins for Jarry. Do you say Jarry or Yari? Because in Montreal, that's Jerry.
Yeah, we'll call it Jarry.
Jarry, because in Montreal, Jerry smoked meat is one of the best smoked meat places around. But this is Jarry. He's not one of the best goaltenders around, but he's an upgrade. And he won tonight's matchup. He won the Jarry Skinner matchup.
He did. Yeah,
which is very funny because Jarry's wearing a Pittsburgh Penguins helmet, I believe, and Skinner's wearing his Oilers mask. Has that ever happened before? So are we happy, Oilers fans? Is this the move that gets Oilers Nation the Stanley Cup and the monkey off their backs? Is this it?
I'll tell you what, Chev, this is a step in the right direction. We don't need, like I talked about it before, the Oilers lost in the playoffs to Bobrovsky. Any other goaltender with that team, and I'm convinced that we'd have the 2 Stanley Cups right now, or at least a split. Panthers are a great team. But it was spectacular goaltending that beat the Oilers. That said, we do not need to have a Bobrovsky in that for the Oilers to have success. We just needed to step up from that 8.54 save percentage that we're blessed with from Skinner and Pickard. I mean, it was awful, and I like Skinner, but he just wasn't there yet. He's still a young goalie. He's going to be a great goalie, I'm sure, in the future for somebody. But the Oilers need to make a move. No, they didn't get a superstar, but they did get a 900 goaltender, and that's a step in the right direction, Chev.
Well, they won tonight, but I think you have to thank the Montreal Canadiens for that, because I believe they're the ones who caused the trade. Was that the other night when did the Habs beat the Oilers? What was the reason I said, or I think it was the Habs? Did they beat the Penguins and then the Penguins made the trade for Skinner? And then the Habs beat the Oilers, so they had a good little run there.
The Habs beat the old Oilers. They didn't beat the new Oilers, though. So there's a bit of a difference there.
They beat the Oilers.
They beat Pickard, and Pickard was part of the problem where we didn't have a solid number one guy. Yeah, the Habs look good. They look good that night.
Sheldon, Trey, all you guys have to say is thank you, and I'll say you're welcome. That's it. Listen, we were talking last week about middle of the road Canadian teams and where they stood, and you guys really want to convince me that the Oilers were better than the Canadians, and I want to convince you that Canadians were better. But the fact of the matter is the Montreal Canadiens facilitated the trade that you wanted. So you're welcome for that. Will it pay off? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to pay off. I mean, when Bouchard turns the puck over right in front of the goaltender for a gift wrapped goal. That doesn't matter if it's Pickard, Jerry, Mike Liut, or Vladislav Tretiak. They're not going to stop that. And that is what plagues the Oilers. Yes, the goaltending has been a problem for the last 2 decades, but their defense has been the bigger problem. It's not the forwards. I mean, Draisaitl got his 1,000th. Oh, here. Whoa.
Okay, go ahead.
And listen, you don't get permission to freelance when you have an epic fail. Like, you go back to the penalty box. Until
all right, 2 minutes.
No, I'm just kidding.
2 minutes.
But
2 minutes.
no, we send him to the penalty. I like that. Hey, we send him to the penalty box. Listen, offensive firepower is not the problem. It's been goaltending and defense, and whatever combination of that is, they've made an attempt to solve it. I don't know if that's the full part of the equation. They definitely didn't address their defense.
Yeah, and that's true that they didn't, but I don't think that they're necessarily done yet. But what they did do is they took that what do they call it? The heavy stone around their neck that's been weighing them down, and that just kills the confidence of the skaters in front of it. When your goalie's not settled and your goalie's not right, it's hard for the rest of the team to play at the level that they're supposed to play. And I tell you what, Chev, I 100% agree with you. Bouchard's got a great slap shot. He's going to put up some points, but he is the most frustrating guy in the world to see turn over the pucks. But you know what? I don't think they're done with the moves yet, but in the very least, you've got a guy that's not going to let in as high a percentage of those bad goals. And 2, the guys aren't going to be squeezing the sticks as hard when those moments come. Maybe we'll even see a new focus, a new attitude, and we'll see a few less of those turnovers. But you know what I love, Sheldon? You know what I love is that you have hope. Is that because
dude,
I got more than hope. I have faith.
Sheldon, hope and faith. You don't have him in nets though. And the problem is, like, I love what you're saying. It's like it's a revival. This is hope. It's faith. But when I think about, I'm not even an Oilers fan. Like, I couldn't name you half the roster, but I can name you Cam Talbot, Mike Smith, Campbell, Skinner. What's his name? Pickard, the dude they traded for this summer that can't even make it out of the minors. Who else was there? Was Kemper there? Like,
Dubnik,
there's a long
one
list.
of Bez now.
I don't even know what you're talking. Okay, Trey,
what
you're
I'm
out of
saying,
the box. Trey, you're out of the box. Come on,
Trey, you're out of the box. But there's been a long line of hope and faith speeches like you're giving me tonight that have happened over the last 10 years.
What are you even talking about? This team has been to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row. What's been holding them back is inconsistent goaltending. Scoring, you're right. Scoring's not an issue. In fact, if you've been watching the last few games tonight, Draisaitl he hit his 1,000th point. We have 4 points on the night. McDavid, a couple more big ones. Did you see that goal where they just left it for McDavid on the blue line at a full head of steam? And he just skated past everybody. It's stupid. It's like you've got a power boost playing video games with this guy. Nobody can skate with him. But right now, with a little bit of security behind them, this team will be able to refocus and flourish. And yes, they need to refocus. Guys, but I think a change like this signals to the room that, boys, we've got your back as an organization. Go win some games. Let's go.
You know what I see? I see it for the Oilers to have got even remotely, for them to have had a chance to remotely get to where they got last year. They needed Stuart Skinner to be the goaltender that they paid for and they hoped for, and he wasn't. And now they're just like you. They have hope and faith that the guy they traded for is going to be better than the guy they traded away. And
Draisaitl and McDavid and Nurse and Bouchard when he's on point with that slap shot.
Yeah.
Trey, help me out, bud.
Yeah, well, let's not act like Stu Skinner was paid a lot here, Chevy. He's a $2 million goalie, okay? We'll just start off with that.
Who was rushed? Whose development was rushed.
He was supposed to be behind Campbell, and that blew up in her face, so, like, whatever. Yeah. But Jari's a $5 million guy. He's 30 years old. He knows how to win. I mean, Daryl will say that he's a hot mess because he's only been in the playoffs once, but he's a much better goaltender than Stuart Skinner on every single stat, and arguably on a worse team. I'd say the Penguins are worse than the Oilers.
You didn't even know who he was 2 days ago, and now he's the best.
Sorry, are you kidding me?
Come on.
What do you mean? He was in contention to be a Canadian goaltender for us.
Bleh.
I
Listen,
definitely know who he was. He was an oil king too. He has a farm out in Edmonton, so he loves it here. He's got all the boys riled around him, and they're clearly playing better in front of him. They beat the Leafs, and they beat the Penguins with Jarry and net, and they look a lot better defensively. They even got rid of
Wait.
Kulak too. You say they haven't made any change on defense. That's a lie. They brought in Spencer Stastny from Nashville. He's gonna play. He's younger than Kulak. He's better defensively. He's gonna play a lot of
and
minutes for
everybody
us.
loved Kulak here, and that was the one guy they probably didn't want to trade. But that's the
Well,
only
he's
guy that-
overpaid. He's 37 years old. He's
Which
getting
opens
$4
us
million.
up options for more moves as we go through this season. I mean,
Hey, you
I like where the Oilers are
This
sitting
was-
right now.
this-
Shane.
this
Wait,
was
wait,
a fantastic move, and the Oilers are only going to get better from here.
You mentioned all the teams they beat. Did they beat the Habs on Sunday?
No,
The
they're
Habs
playing.
are the-
We started
They
Pickard.
are Pickard. Like, it's
Dude,
not,
like, that's
it's
not even-
apples and oranges.
That's
On,
like-
on the second night of a back-to-back after they just blew out Toronto. You know them guys went out
That's sitting your
partying in
starting
Toronto that night.
quarterback the last week of the season and saying, "Yeah, but you lost to Ottawa." Well, dude, come on, man.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
no intent to win that game.
Well,
It was
boys,
just,
you know the season
And
is
we're
the season.
tied in the standings too.
and,
so
and,
let's
and
not-
how did
let's not-
the
let's not-
Habs do tonight?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
had
how
a
did
pretty
the
strong
Habs?
showing against Philly, didn't they? I think they
Yeah,
only lost
yeah.
by 3. What was the final?
I
I
didn't
was
wa-
like
I
that new goalie just left it right behind the net for Philly to score. I saw.
Dobish, I think
No,
Dobish.
Fowler.
Shout out to
Fowler,
Dobish.
the new
Oh
goalie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
Cozy
see,
says
I'm-
McDavid's now the league
you don't
leader
even
again,
know.
too.
You don't even know.
Yeah.
No, I don't think the Montreal Canadiens are making a push for the Stanley Cup here. I mean, you guys are.
Whoa! What happened to the parade you planned 3 weeks ago?
What the Habs were going to win the
Like, you
next
had
3
the
cups
route
in a
mapped
row.
out. Yeah.
What's Cozy saying? Cozy is saying that I'm living on the past successes of the Habs.
Like from the 60s and 70s. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I watch hockey through my lying eyes. Well, I'll tell you what. If there's 2 people, if there's 3 squares here, there's 2 guys trying to convince themselves that they just made the trade of the century. And I don't know,
Dude.
boys. Hope is a great thing, but you know what else
Well-
is a great thing? 300-pound poetry. Let's get off the Oilers. Time will tell that story. Trey, let's hit the poll.
And now, 300-pound poetry with Chevy and Nasty.
Start
Many
over.
obsessions.
Start
On
over.
this
Start
Tuesday
over.
night ride, we tackle many obsessions like food and hockey and Trey's face for obsession.
We think the biggest news that affects our show is the Oilers trading of Skinner, which helps Trey's mustache to grow.
And Philip Rivers almost pulled off some 44-year-old magic, but the Seahawks won. Trey kept the stash. It all just seems so tragic.
Nasty went to Toronto, and there was lots of food on his trip, but not as much as what's stuck in Trey's upper lip.
The Chiefs missed the playoffs, and that is now for certain. It almost seems odd, like looking at Trey's upper lip curtain.
We are the 300-pound poets. Tonight we put our rhymes to the test, and he may have a gross lady tickler, but Trey is still the best. Trey, it almost seems fitting that we had a poem devoted to your mustache, especially after you got us late here tonight, like 10 minutes late. You and your mustache, giving mustache rides. Forget it.
Sounds like you guys are jealous at this point.
Dude, come on, man. Come on, man.
Your mustache
sounds
is now.
like Randy's jealous.
Yeah, Reagan Colberg's laughing at lip curtain. I saw Chevy when he said me. I haven't even heard the lip curtain before. I
The
love
lip
it, buddy.
curtain. Well, Trey, listen, I'm not jealous because I could literally grow one in 5. I could grow one by the end of the show.
Yeah,
when
I
you
can
have
match that by Thursday, dude.
Yeah, like I'm Italian, dude. I squint and I grow a mustache, so I don't think I have anything. But your mustache has now officially become a character in the show. If we could have like a little
sure has.
animation of your mustache dancing around, that'd be great. But listen, next week, you and your mustache better get stuff straight so we can start on time. Don't double click. Don't give the mustache control of the mouse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we can blame this, but you have no idea how nervous I was on Sunday, Randy. I legitimately thought I was going to have to shave off the mustache.
I thought you were going to shave the mustache too. When they kicked the field goal with what is it, 30 seconds left or 20 seconds left, I was like, yes. And then all of a sudden, I was in the car listening to the game, and then I walk into the house, and I see that the Seahawks kick a field goal to win it. I was like, that lucky bomb. What made you happier, Trey? The Seahawks saving face and beating 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, or Oilers trading Skinner?
It's close, but Oilers trading Skinner was probably the best thing that they have done. Or like, I guess the Seahawks is just another regular season game and a mustache on the line. But the heart was pounding. The heart was pounding. I'll give you that much. It was a good bet.
I bet you should have a brick in there. So let's turn our attention to the man on the bottom box. For those of you who don't know, that's Sheldon. Sheldon, you and our good friend, listener to the show, Todd Kozak, went to Toronto last week.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about the boys' trip. And, I had a boys' trip the week before. You had a boys' trip this week. What was going on in Toronto? We know kind of, but refresh our memories.
Well, we talked about it. Cozy's son, Jacob Kozak, who is Canadian national champion last year in the 80 kilo or 78 kilo. I can't remember the weight class, but kilogram wrestler is back in the mid-season right now. So we're heading out to Toronto area where there's two big tournaments. One, the Bishop Ryan in Hamilton, and the Matmen in Brampton, Ontario. So, for that trip, he likes to have a road buddy with him. So we figured, okay, hey, WestJet, let's get a couple of standby flights and head out east and check it out. And it was amazing. There's a little bit, I'll talk about the wrestling later. There's a little bit of bad news that young Jacob came across. But from our standpoint, we're trying to figure out what to do with our time, our afternoons and evenings. Cozy's got a knee issue that's just flared up. So he's like immobile. Okay. He can't walk long distances. So sightseeing, mall trips, all that stuff was kind of out. So we said, you know what? We are going to go on a culinary trip extraordinaire. Like, how we love to talk about food and get inspired by all these ideas. We went and literally went after every craving and genre of food that we have thought about or talked about, short of egg salad sandwiches, in the last 6 months. And we did it on this trip.
Did you throw him? Did you throw him in a wheelchair and just wheel him around? Like,
dude, I was so hard. I just threw him over my back and we just went.
So tell us a little bit about the trip.
So first of all, I'm gonna tell you about this one. So in the last year or so, you started hearing about this Filipino chain of chicken called Jollibees.
Yeah,
have you heard of Jollibees, right?
I've seen him.
What do you tell me? What do you know about Jollibees?
Zero. I've never been. I stay away from fast food chains that I don't know because I don't know. And I don't know where they come. And you know what? Every time I see a fast food chain that I don't know, you know what I think of? Breaking Bad and Los Pollos Hermanos. I just think it's a front for like a drug dealer chain because
100% it is. 100% it is. But that being said, I saw their menu before. It's like fried chicken and spaghetti with wieners in it. And I was like, okay, this is just kind of a gimmick and dumb, right? So I never bothered to go. Cozy's like, dude, we've got to check this out. It's a game changer. So we hit Jollibees, and the first thing okay, and this was in Brampton, and the first thing you realize when you go to Brampton is just how white you are.
Okay,
it's a city that went from in 2000 it was like 350,000 people. Now it's just under 1 million, and it's where a lot of the Indian and East Pacific population comes to. So you stand out already, but then you go to Jollibees, and you swear every single Filipino person in the city is eating there.
Okay,
and one thing I've learned about ethnic restaurants, if the locals, if the diaspora that comes from supports it, is good. Yep. We go in there and I didn't know what to expect. So he ordered for me. We got a bucket of, half of it was spicy chicken, half of it was regular chicken. And the first bite of chicken was so crispy and so tender. They bread it differently than anything you've had before. I like the Cajun of Popeye's chicken, but this crust was better than any fast food chicken that I've ever had.
Really?
The second thing that came with it, though, and this is what shocked me, was the side. You get this little thing of spaghetti mixed with this sauce, which looked way better than it did in the pictures. And it's mixed with wieners, chopped up wieners. What? Now, is that an Italian thing? Like wieners in your spaghetti?
No, never heard of that ever. I'm looking at their menu now.
Yeah.
So Jollibee crispy chicken, that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And so what was the spaghetti with the wieners? Like Jolly spaghetti?
So Trey, if you can find one of the spaghetti and blow it up. Yeah, right there. So they've got like cheddar cheese on top. It doesn't look that impressive, but you bite into it. It's a combination of tanginess, like a little vinegar that they mix in with their tangy sauce. They put a little smoked something in there. Some chili powder maybe. It is the best freaking bite of non-Italian spaghetti I've ever had. It's like Like it's like Tex-Mex, but with a Filipino flair to it. And dude, I'm telling you, I'm usually turned off by guys that are trying to invent dishes, but the Filipinos have it right. Their fried chicken, their spaghetti with wieners was off the charts good.
See, I'm looking at the logo there, and I'm really thinking Breaking Bad there. Like the food looks good. It looks like it's something I would try. But Trey, pull up the logo for Pollos Hermanos from Breaking Bad. Pollos Hermanos. Very similar. Like, I don't know. Like, I expect to walk in and see Gus Fring there. I mean, look at that. That looks very similar. Look at the chickens on the bottom. And you're looking at Jollibee, and every time I see one, there's a couple of them in Calgary. I can't shake that feeling of the Pollos Hermanos, the elaborate money laundering scheme and drug lord criminal enterprise disguised as that food chain.
I know nothing about what the business case for this new chain is. I'm sure it's linked somehow to the drug trade coming out of the Philippines. I'm sure. But I'll tell you what, that spaghetti was serious. And they serve these little pies. They have like a
little apple pies,
pie, but they also had one called like an ubu or something like that. That was like a sweet potato pie.
Oh yeah, the ubi pie. It's like
ubi
a purple
pie, dude. It's purple. It was I never knew purple could taste so good. Like it was delicious.
Okay, so what did you had the spaghetti? You had
we got the bucket of 6, the barrel of 6, half spicy, half regular, and that spicy is hot. The chicken, guys, comes with gravy. The way they eat it in the Philippines is you take that piece of chicken and you dump it into your own gravy barrel. I mean, this is not healthy, but especially with a hot chicken, you dip it in the gravy and then you have a bite of it. It was like the guiltiest pleasure I've had in the last 3 years.
But that's very much what Raising Cane's was. It was a chicken with this gravy sauce. It was almost, I'm looking. That looks good. I might have to check it out. Sheldon, we should go have a Jollibee in Calgary to see if it's.
I got back from Toronto like late last night or yesterday morning. First thing I did when the kids got home from school, we went to Jollibee's. And
was it the same? Was it the same? Was it worthwhile?
Yeah, it was good. It's a little more expensive here because they charge you an upgrade if you get like the spaghetti as your side. But yeah, it was a very similar experience. The food was good. And even we went to the Cross Iron Mills Mall and the same thing. It was full of Filipino community, which again tells you that they love their fried chicken and they love their Jollibees.
Okay.
Can't go wrong, dude.
Let's go back to Toronto, though. Let's go back to Toronto. So you hit the Jollibee, you carried Cozy over your shoulders. You crush some chicken, you crush some spaghetti. He's getting a little heavy. You throw him in the back of the convertible. Where to next? Where's the next stop on the great food adventure?
I've never been to a Japanese barbecue before. Like you've been to a Korean barbecue, right?
So you've never been to Japanese Village where they?
Oh no, I have been, but where you do it yourself. So here's the thing: it's like $55 per $50 per person, call it, and they give you 2 hours, to order whatever you want in the restaurant.
And it could be sushi and hot stuff, right?
And everything was on point. You can get soup, you can get the tempura veggies, you can get your rolls, your sashimi, you could get everything, which we did. But in between rolls, you're throwing on. You can get everything from large steaks they can throw on there. Thin brisket slices, thin chicken, like you name it. And it's just a matter of trying to time it up so you can cook the meat while stuffing down rolls. It was a gluttonous fare. I was going to take pictures of that one, but I figured I just don't want to. I didn't want any evidence of that.
How soon after Jollibee? Was there like a poop in between?
I'm not going in the right order exactly. I'm just going to go kind of in the order of what impressed me.
So there was no throwing up. There was no throwing up and pooping at the same time from either you or Cozy.
No, and we talked about that. That could have been an option, but I think that was the Beaver's hot sauce horseradish that did that for you.
Yeah, that was just going to the Stampeders house for a game this year, if you recall. So you did your sushi with the little skillet. Those are fun. They have those in BC. I remember I did that once in BC before a game, the night before a game. It was
like a Japanese, not Korean.
It was Japanese. It was a sushi place. It was right by our hotel. I had never done it. The guys always went for sushi in BC. I never did. One time I did, and me and Tim St. Pierre, we crushed so much that both of us, the two long snappers on the team, were dying the next day at the game. Like we were we were in bad shape because we ate so much.
I had to stop going for sushi in Vancouver because
Yeah.
of all the soy sauce, like the sodium. You would
Yeah.
just like blow it up the next day. You just
Oh
felt
yeah,
kinda
just
gross a little
dying.
bit, but
Just yeah, no. And then imagine you eat all that, you eat all the rice, and then you throw in all those nice little hot meats that you're cooking. It's a lot. It's a lot before a
it's a
game.
lot. Yeah.
So what else? What else? What else?
The Mandarin was a massive Vegas style buffet where you could probably seat 800 people. It would look like a convention center. And you're supposed to get the and we walked in without reservations. There wasn't a seat in the house, but it's just there's probably about 8 rows more than that of food station, everything from Japanese to Chinese to Western to you name it. And they must have had 200 staff running around. They never bumped into you. They're so efficient at filling up. The food quality was great. So that's the Mandarin in Brampton. Which was
So wait, there was no regard for your health here, right?
Not
Like,
at all, dude.
like
Not at all.
zero.
It was 4 days of just carnage.
Like
and
it
wasn't always full meals, but it was everything that we wanted to eat. We ate.
But I mean, you're not going to Freshie for salad. You're going to a buffet, and it doesn't matter that
there's a salad bar at the buffet.
Yeah, but you walked right by.
The far end. I couldn't quite get there, but
I'm going to do a little shout out to Sebastian Fletcher, one of my son's Luke's buddies here. He's watching the show. He said he had Popeyes the other day for the first time. He thought it was gross. Where do you sit on Popeyes? Because I'm like, once I had Raising Cane's, I have to say Popeyes kind of just, I don't know, like Popeyes isn't like, I know people that died for Popeyes when it comes here. I don't know. I haven't had the Chick-fil-A yet in Calgary, but I'm not craving Popeyes ever. You?
I like Popeyes. In fact, we've kind of stolen the recipe that we do that fried chicken at home from time to time. The key to Popeyes for me is, and any chicken, is really the chicken sandwich. Like I'm a chicken sandwich guy, right? And I have big time respect for Popeyes. So, and most people do. That's a bit of a different take from Sebastian. Like Sebastian, feel free to comment again. What is your go-to chicken? Like,
there's got to be a go-to.
There's got to be. What are you comparing it to that has sucked? I guess
maybe,
that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, maybe there's some other chicken that he likes. Before we get into young Jacob Kozak's weekend, Todd Cozy mentions Firehouse Subs. Now, I'm a big fan of this chain. You mentioned that you had your first Firehouse Sub.
Absolutely.
What'd you think?
I got the Italian.
Okay.
It was excellent. Like it was.
You didn't get the hook and ladder, like their signature sub, the one they were built on.
No. I'll let Cozy guide me on this one because he's a big sub guy. I'm not a sub guy. Like for me, my sub started and finished at Subway.
Yeah, okay.
Or Mr. Sub, the Canadian version back in the day, and which they're not. I get the meatball marinara. It's okay, right? But this is now. So now Firehouse Subs is out, which has got some amazing subs, including their hot subs and all that hot sauce bar, the sauce bar they have.
Yeah,
which I
they
didn't
got a
really
hot
delve
sauce
into,
bar.
but yeah, it looks good. So I get it. Like, what's your go-to when you go there? The hook and ladder?
The hook and ladder. So first of all, I'm going to give a big shout out to Firehouse Subs because these people who run the Firehouse Subs, at least in Calgary, and I'm talking about my good friend Pearl, a friend. Who else am I thinking? My names are escaping me right now, but they are just fantastic human beings. Like fantastic. They sponsored everything we did for Fire Prevention Week, and they didn't even bat an eye. They said, "What do you need? We got it." They're amazing human beings, first of all. So the people behind the franchise, at least in Calgary, are unbelievable people, and the food, Sheldon, it's amazing. But the hook and ladder is the one that they were built on, and this is the crazy thing. Firehouse Subs was started by 2 firefighters in Florida, and at some point a major food conglomerate, I don't know who it is, but I don't know who it was, bought them out for $1 billion, paid them $1 billion, because again, when you do something with the fire department, it almost associates a good thing. They use the Maltese cross, but honestly, like when I go there, it blows. Like I used to like Quiznos. I loved Quiznos. I'm not a big Subway fan, but Subway is the only one that's kind of been around, and they did good marketing with Jared and all that for a while there. But then Quiznos was the one for me that I really enjoyed, and I was introduced to that in the States. But this blows them out of the water. The bread, you know what? Shit. Okay, keep going.
I
was just gonna say that hook and ladder sub. is the go-to
What's on
sub
it?
for me.
What's on it?
It's got the cheese. I believe it's a hot chicken one. There's bacon. It's really good. And then I also like a honey bourbon one. I believe there's a honey bourbon or a honey bacon one. That one I really like. So those are the types of subs I love. They just opened one up. Actually, I'm going to tell you tomorrow on Wednesday, Sage Hill Firehouse Subs is opening up. Grand opening between 11 and 2 p.m. You
That's
can
right
go
by
there.
my place, dude.
You could go there for a free sub and a drink on them, or between 5 and 7. It's their grand opening. I'm going to try and get there on my work hours because Pearl invited me. They might become a sponsor of the show. Like, I haven't asked them yet because we're working on some stuff for the fire department. But when things settle there, I might ask them to become a sponsor of the show because they're good people. I think we're good people. And, we're talking them up now. You know what? Cozy loves the Italian, and that's good. Everyone has their favorite subs. Like, for me, if I have a sub with Italian meats, I have to have mustard on it. I can't have mayo. If a sub has mayo on it, I can't do it.
That Firehouse mustard's so good. It's almost like, I think they call it a deli mustard, but it's almost got a little Dijon to it. Like, it's got it's a full mustard and the perfect amount of bread. It's not too bready. I love it. Jersey Mike's is another one that's up and coming, but I haven't hit that yet. But for me, Firehouse Subs is my new go-to for subs for sure.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so I know it's should we take a little break and then tell us about
let's take a break. Let's take a break.
Okay, so we'll take a quick break here, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the comments. I'm going to read them in the break. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll continue on Sheldon's trip with Cozy, but this time we're going to focus on what they were there for. Not the gluttonous eating experience, but the wrestling tournament for young Jacob Kozak, and they can fill us in on what happened right here when we get back.
Performance Freight Management is a global logistic freight shipping company that will handle the entire shipping process for any package to any country. Whether it be a simple truck shipment from your office to Toronto or your company importing generators from China, PFM Freight handles it all. We have the expertise and technology to handle any shipping requirements. Skip the guesswork and let us take the shipping pain off your plate.
Do you want your business to be known? YYCCalgaryBusiness.ca is Calgary's only online media platform that gets you noticed. Short-form video content is rapidly taking over as the most effective way to engage your audience. Whether you're being interviewed on a vodcast, sharing a sizzle reel, or even hosting your own show, there is one place you can publicize your business. We want to tell your story and introduce you to our network of empowered business owners and leaders right here in Calgary. Isn't it time you took your digital game to 11? Call us or email us now.
So we talked about your trip to Toronto, your gluttonous foodie road trip to the Jollibee, the Dynasty, Mandarin buffet, the Japanese.
There might have been some ramen and pho mixed in there as well. But
any good breakfast joints? Because this is all seems to be dinner. Like, did you hit one good breakfast joint, or you just
continental breakfast at the Holiday Inn Express?
Oh, fair enough.
We hit Denny's when we first got there. We actually took the red eye from Toronto, which is from Calgary to Toronto. It was the first time I've done it. So it's like 12:30 until call it 3:30 Calgary time, which is 5:30 in the morning Toronto. We rented a car. Hotel wasn't ready yet, obviously, so we hit Denny's.
Denny's is
spectacular, but
Denny's is always a good go-to. I do want to just before we get to Jacob, I kind of the name slipped me, but it's Cam. Cam is the other owner. So Pearl and Fran own all the Firehouse Subs in Calgary, and Calgary North. Cam owns down in Okotoks to Calgary South. They've been popping up like everywhere. Most of those people are also Tim Hortons franchisees. So the parent company for Tim Hortons is also the parent company for Firehouse Subs. So whoever paid those firefighters $1 billion a few years ago is the same company that runs Tim Hortons, and I believe is it Burger King and all that. Like it's one of those big food conglomerates. But Firehouse Subs, if you haven't checked it out, guys, tomorrow is a great opportunity. Sage Hill, like I said, you can go get a free sub. It's out there. You're invited. Everyone's invited. You just got to know to go. Sheldon, you guys went to Toronto. It wasn't just to eat. You went to support young Jacob, who's an up-and-coming rising star in the world of amateur wrestling. How did that part of the trip go?
Oh, dude, and that's the disappointment of it. And I know something that we've all been through. Anybody that's played high level or any sports. So the original Bishop Ryan tournament was really a bit of a warm up. It was a U19 tournament. The mat man on Saturday was the Pan Am qualifier, which last year he just narrowly missed out as the youngest guy on the eligible to go. This year the Pan Am Games was feeling like a very real possibility. In fact, some would say he was kind of favored for it. Yeah. Third match of the day at the Bishop Ryan, and a guy goes for a bit of an awkward throw on Jacob, caught it when his knee was planted. I'm filming right there at the edge of the mat, and all of a sudden here, instantly it looked awkward. ACL's gone, dude. He sprained his ACL in not a meaning nothing tournament. It's a very high-end tournament. Americans are there, all that stuff, but it wasn't a qualifier. So you watched a young kid that won the nationals last year, was planning to go to the Pan Am Games, Team Canada this year, and watch a young guy's dreams of the year just slip by. And that put I talk a lot about the food because that's what we did to console ourselves. But really, really just disappointed to see a young guy have to end his season short. And and as it turns out, it was a horrible weekend for ACLs.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. The NFL ACL. So did you say it's a sprain or it's torn? Like, is he done?
It's torn. They diagnosed it as likely a full tear. They do that test, and that the movement in the knee was disturbing to watch, right? And there was no pain, so you pretty much were sure it was an ACL.
So is this a surgery thing? Is that what we're?
They're going through all that right now, and that's in fact, and here's the thing now. For a competitive athlete like Chev, I don't know if you had a big injury at McGill. I obviously had the pec tear at Iowa State, and you're in for surgery within days of diagnosis. Mm-hmm. You're getting MRIs the night after the injury happens. It shocks me to see what these kids have to go through. I mean, if he has to go on a waiting list, he might have to wait a year for the surgery.
Yeah, it's
right,
not,
and that's.
It's
hopefully because they're affiliated with the junior Husky, with the Huskies program. Hopefully they'll speed that up. But the whole thing now is when can they get that surgery, and we're just gonna have to find out.
Yeah, and that's too bad. I mean, like you said, up and coming athlete. It's always hard when you suffer a setback, but as some people say, a setback can be a setup. Sometimes that not that things come easy, but sometimes when you're on that path towards success. I'm looking for the silver lining here. That sometimes.
Let me give you the silver lining.
Go for it.
Here's what happens when you get an injury. And for any of you guys out there with your kids or playing sports or something happens, what happens when you're injured and you go through surgery? Well, suddenly you start going through an organized rehab program. Yep. And that rehab program rebuilds you from the ground up, especially with something structural like an ACL. You're going to go through balance. You're going to go through standing on BOSU balls, elevating to workout, like exercise balls. By the end of a successful rehab, they will have rebuilt you from the ground up. And in a lot of cases, you're stronger than you've ever been in your life.
Yeah.
I know coming back from the pec tear, that was true for me. You spent 9 months where you couldn't play, you just trained. And every time that you train, you're just, you're watching the other guys play and you can't. You're just picturing every time you swing that medicine ball, every time you squat or you thrust or you push up that bench, you just dream of that comeback and you end up a more balanced athlete. And in some cases, if you relied on your right side a lot and you can't anymore, You can start shooting on the left side. You can start becoming left side dominant. You can add a lot of tricks to your game. But the important thing in a rehab is this, Chev, in my opinion, and I want to hear your comments on it. You have to approach your rehab with the same tenacity that you approach your regular training, your regular practice during the week. You can't slough off your rehab. If you focus on making it as aggressive as possible, you will come back a superior athlete at the end of it.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. And not just in terms of the actual injury or the sort of the location of the injury, but the whole psychology of it. Like most human beings don't encounter any sort of physical setback until adulthood, whether it's a diagnosis or whether it's an injury in an accident. It's very few who play sports at a high level, at the youth level, from, let's say, youth to college, that get that experience of being injured and the resilience it takes to come back. And I think for me, for instance, when you're young, we always talk about this, that age of invincibility. When you're a kid, up until your 30s, 40s, you're invincible. Nothing hurts you. Nothing but most have not known the possibility that the thing they love could be taken away. And if you don't know what that feels like, how can you know how to appreciate and work for it? And I could tell you, I had a couple of experiences like that early in my career in football and college. I had a car accident that almost kept me out of the season. But when I got stabbed prior to my last year at McGill, the day I got stabbed, Sheldon, that day, and I think we've talked about this, I was training and I had shin splints and I had already had my teaching degree and I was already starting to teach as a sub, but I made the decision I was going to come back for my 5th year so I could go in the draft. But that day, it was a summer day. It was hot. We were running the stadium stairs at McGill. And I was kind of like, why am I doing all this crap? Like, why do I train 3 hours a day? Why do I run with shin splints? I'm in pain. Like, everything hurts. Being ready for the draft and for the football season is a hard thing to do. Why am I doing this? And that moment, I was questioning my resolve. That night, I went to work at the bar and I got stabbed. And my resolve could never have been more clear that I needed to get. I didn't even remember thinking that I was doubting football until way a year later when I was in the NFL, thinking, man, that day that I almost thought I wanted to quit football was also the day I got stabbed, was also the day that I decided nothing's going to keep me from my sport.
Yeah.
And like you said, it wasn't the injury, because I mean, I got stabbed in the lung, the tissue healed. It wasn't an orthopedic injury. Everything was fine, but it was the mental process that I went through I rose above anything I could have been had I never encountered that. Had I just been a guy that lifted weights, ran hard and played hard, I would not have had the season I had.
Chevy, it was taken away from you from the standpoint that, it never occurred to you that you might not be able to play.
Yeah, never.
And I find the second that it's taken away from you and everybody else is doing it and you can't, a lot of that other fatigue, the other grinding, nagging injuries, the other stuff just goes away. If the tuning fork has gone off, you can have a bad week and like, I don't need this shit anymore.
Yep.
But the second somebody says, okay, you're out. It fuels that fire for the comeback. It fuels 100%. That fire to do it. Jacob Kozak is missing a trip to Estonia. He went to Japan last year. He's at the level he's now traveling internationally.
Yep.
And he'll never get that trip back. But you better believe, as he's training and doing exactly what the physio guys are telling him to do, that he's going to be like, give me more. Let's go.
And he's never going to take a workout for granted. He's never going to take a session for. I mean, I know you guys used to make fun of me, Mr. Football and all that, but there's a reason that I was that guy, because I never took it for after that moment where, like you said, people were doing it and I wasn't. And doctors said, you're probably never going to play football again. And I said, you best believe I will. Those things are burned in your brain and you can't, once it's burned into you, you cannot turn it off. It wasn't because I was Mr. Try Hard, because I wanted people. No, it was what I knew to do. It's like making your bed in the morning. Once you realize that it's an important part of your day and it sets you up for the end of your day for a nice comfy bed, you can never undo that. You can't leave the house saying, oh, I'm just going to leave my bed, and then tonight I'm going to go sleep in a messy bed with crappy covers. That's how you change. You bust through a threshold in terms of preparation and awareness that you can't unwind. You can't unring that bell, like you said. You can't turn off that tuning fork. And so I believe someone with the talent, the work ethic that I know Jacob has, because we've heard so many stories from you guys over the last couple of years. This type of event is part of the process that turns him from a really awesome amateur athlete to an unstoppable one.
Let me ask you this. So let me ask you this. So the night after the injury, we're back at the hotel, and I asked him, I said, what bothers you the most about this? Because he's a real stoic guy, like real calm. He's never too up, never too down.
Yep.
And I asked him, what bothers you the most about this? He goes, well, he thought about it, and he says, I just feel like I'm going to fall behind, because there's three guys in the weight class that are all really competitive. Yep. And he says, I just feel like I'm going to fall behind. Any thoughts on that feeling, or have you been there before where you're like everybody else is just going to surpass me, I'm going to get left behind?
Yeah, but you get to where you are not worrying about other people, and now you got to get back to where you are not worrying about other people. You know what I mean? Like things happen. Like yeah, you could fall behind, or that guy could get a girl pregnant and decide, hey, I don't want to be a wrestler anymore. Like, you don't know what's going to happen in their situation. So you can't focus on it. It's always like what I talked about when kickers would come to camp, and I'd have to talk these guys off a ledge because they're looking at the next guy. And I said, listen, if each of you has 10 kicks and you're worried about the other two guys' kick, guess what? When you come home at night, you're worrying about 30 kicks. Worry about the 10 that you do, forget about what they do. And if you could focus up, guess what? Chances are they don't have the same coaching that you have. So if you just focus on what you're doing, you get to where you need to be, and you're not worrying about all the variables that aren't.
And it's the only thing you can control.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a valuable lesson to learn in sport. I even watched with Philip Rivers. I just watched the highlights. I didn't watch the game. 44 years old, out of football for a couple of seasons. He played great. Yeah. He didn't have the same zip on the ball, but he knew what he could and he couldn't do.
Yep. He
missed 2 years, and he started in the NFL and he almost beat the
5 years.
5 years.
Yep.
Dude, 5 years. And he almost beat the Seattle Seahawks. He didn't have the same zip, but he had the same mind. And you better believe, missing the game all those years, how many games do you think he played in his mind at night, falling asleep over the last 5 years?
And he's coaching football. Like those who have it and those who want it, don't let injury stop them. Those who don't have it and don't want it, let injury be the excuse for them not putting in the work. And that's all it is. Because if Jacob wants it, which he clearly does, this is just something that needed to happen for him to get to where he's destined to be. And that's it. That's kind of how I see these things.
Yeah.
It's part of the process. It makes you tougher. It makes you stronger. It adds to your, what do they say? Chicks dig scars. Scars tell a great story.
Dude, I bet you that kid's getting so much attention in high school this week in grade 11. But you know what, Jacob Kozik, that I've got a feeling you're going to be seeing this episode. So that's why I wanted to ask Chevy a few questions, get his take on it. Kid, you're going to be fine. Stay focused, stay positive. You're going to get there. Chev, I think we're running a little late today. So why don't we take a break now? Let everybody catch up, grab a drink, grab a snack, grab a pee. When we come back, there's a bunch of things going on in the world that we got to talk about. I think we're going to figure it out over the break. Whether it's, there's more sports stories, there's shootings in the world. And one of our favorite film directors just died at the hands of his own son. So we'll see where we take this when we come back, but we hope you guys join us. We'll see you next here on the other side on The Ride.
Performance Freight Management is a global logistic freight shipping company that will handle the entire shipping process for any package to any country. Whether it be a simple truck shipment from your office to Toronto or your company importing generators from China, PFM Freight handles it all. We have the expertise and technology to handle any shipping requirements. Skip the guesswork and let us take the shipping pain off your plate.
you want your business to be known. YYCCalgaryBusiness.ca is Calgary's only online media platform that gets you noticed. Short-form video content is rapidly taking over as the most effective way to engage your audience. Whether you're being interviewed on a vodcast, sharing a sizzle reel, or even hosting your own show, there is one place you can publicize your business. We want to tell your story and introduce you to our network of empowered business owners and leaders right here in Calgary. Isn't it time you took your digital game to 11? Call us or email us now.
Yeah, before the break, Sheldon, we're talking about obviously Jacob's injury. Regan Kohlberg brings up Adrian Peterson, but even more recently in the NFL, we're seeing a lot of those ACL injuries. We saw Micah Parsons go down this week with an ACL in a game against the Broncos. He was chasing down Bo Nix. He went down. You look at Jones at the top. He tore his Achilles down. Jones for the Colts, which paved the way for Phillip Rivers to have that comeback. Mahomes went down this weekend as the Chiefs got bounced from the playoffs, and so many injuries this year. There was the Zach Ertz one from a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you saw that one. He got hit. I believe, was it against the Giants that he got hit? And gosh, it looked like his leg blew up. Tight end for the Washington Commanders. So a lot of money sitting on the sidelines this year. And what is it with the injuries, Sheldon? Like, every year it seems like there's an injury that's the flavor of the year. Like, it seemed like the Achilles was the big one a couple of years ago. I was talking about
bunches.
Yeah, but so a lot of guys, Neighbors, Scadaboo, Travis Hunter, it's pretty bad with the injuries to big stars, like marketable guys, right? And I don't know if it's the turf thing. They say it is. They say a lot of players don't want to play on the turf anymore. I went to Arizona the other day, like I mentioned 2 weeks ago, to watch that Cardinals game. And I mean, they literally roll their grass field into the stadium because it's important for them to have natural grass. And other places, they use the, whether it's, I think Field Turf is an actual brand name, but I guess the fake turf. And it seems like a lot of guys are going down.
Yeah.
Let
me ask you this. Did you have a preference? Cause I'm assuming back in your CIS days that, whatever they called it back then, that you played on AstroTurf.
Yeah.
It
was AstroTurf at McGill.
I hated AstroTurf. I liked it because it was fast, but it hurt, especially by the time you got to the pro levels. Riders had OmniTurf. I personally was not a fan of grass because it didn't play fast enough for me, or it showed off how slow I was. Like, I like the faster show. I loved field turf. A good field turf, I felt really confident on. I never felt, other than like sometimes when you land, if you hit your helmet on the ground, like if you fall backwards, which shouldn't happen to defensive linemen. I really like field turf, but it does seem that surface, with as big and strong and as fast as these guys are we going to have to go back to grass?
Well, so I'll deconstruct a little bit of that. The old AstroTurf, they used to say that if you had the wrong shoes that stuck too much, you're going to tear a knee. Right. Yeah. And you had to wear flats. A lot of guys like to wear the little nubbies on those, the little tiny, and those were the ones that caused problems because they would stick. And if you cut, going to grass, I enjoyed playing on grass, but in Canada, once you hit October, November, that ground gets hard. I remember one of my most painful, not knee injuries, but I slammed my knee in the ground because the cleats don't grab. And you wind up sliding, and that happened to me in Edmonton. And I smashed my knee on my kneecap on the ground. And that was like a 6-month ordeal to deal with the pain from that one contact. And that was just me getting off, just getting out of my stance. My foot slipped, and my knee went right into the turf.
Did you get bursitis or just like a contusion, or what was it?
It was like a bursitis / contusion. It was right, like the whole knee was sore for 6 months. Every time it was just fat, and it just got destroyed. So in the hotter months, the grass. A really good grass plays well. Like, I remember playing in Tennessee, the Titans had one of the nicest grass fields I've ever played on. It was like golf green, but your cleats grabbed and it played fast. I loved the field turf. I love new field turf. Like new field turf when it's got all the pellets and it's soft and you land on it, you don't get hurt, but you can run fast because the rubber in it, I think, actually helps you run fast. The problem with the field turf, and especially in Canada, I got to imagine the NFL, they maintained this, but in Canada with the snow, and then they pull off the snow, you always see at McMahon Stadium, once the snow melts, big piles of rubber, and I don't think they refill it. And they might do a little bit of it, but by the time they've actually clawed off the snow, and our good friends from GTR Turf could tell us a little bit more about this. By the time they've clawed off the snow, they've ruined the blades of grass that even when you throw the rubber back on, it doesn't fill and pack the way it was. And if you look at McMahon, like they're getting their new turf this year. I believe they've already got it there, or is this the first year they got the new turf?
They were due for it. I haven't heard any announcements, so I'm assuming it is.
I'm not sure if it was in for this year or not, but new turf in Edmonton, new turf at McMahon. You look at Montreal. You go to Montreal's stadium. Their turf is 13 years past due, and they're still playing with it at McGill Stadium. And I'll tell you this: when I went back in 2021 with the Stamps, when I went back in the COVID year, I hadn't been on that field since 2017. When I stepped on that field and I was practicing for the week, I'll tell you what, I thought my Achilles were going to snap. And I don't think it was a function of my age. I think it was a function of there was no more rubber in that turf. And it was just whatever they used as the backing, flattened blades of grass. There was nothing there. And it was just
you get traction, but you don't get anything else.
And you look at the Stampeders the last couple of years, they've lost some big time athletes because of that turf. Look at what is it? The receivers at Malik Henry. 2 years in a row, they lose one of their star receivers, and a couple of other big name guys went down because of the turf. So new turf is coming in 2026 for the Grey Cup. Good stuff. Thanks for
Rubio staying in California, Los Angeles. They're using coconut shavings instead of the black pellets. Smells nice, but super slick. Yeah, because I cook with coconut oil. Like that's I'm not sure that's the great fix, but
and that would be terrible for long snappers. Terrible for long snappers if the turf is slick, because then the ball gets slick and then the
ball gets greasy. Ball. Oh, quarterbacks, everything. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, where do you want to take this? Let's keep this moving. We talked enough.
Talked enough football. The Chiefs eliminated. Great, thanks. So 11 years in a row, Chiefs go to the playoffs. They've obviously won a bunch of Super Bowls. All I'm going to ask you, Sheldon, this is not a stutter or dud, is this? As we talked about for young Jacob Kozak, just a setback that'll make them better, or are they on the decline? Are they no longer considered one of the top in the NFL? They had a tough season. Tough season.
Name me 6 of Brady's top go-to receivers over the course of his 20 years.
Yeah,
and you can run through Edelman, you can run through Gronk, the list never ends. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be fine. This chapter of the Kansas City Chiefs is over. I think I saw an article where the headline was, "It's time to find the new Travis Kelce," and that's what they need. They need that one big weapon, and they're going to have to go out and find him. But it's a brilliantly run organization. Patrick Mahomes is far from the end of his productive life. In fact, the same thing we're talking about Jacob this year. You wait and see what you see when Patrick Mahomes comes back from rehab. He is going to be in the finest shape of his career. And I think it's going to show next year. They just need to retool a couple of weapons.
What do you think they're missing? Like, what do you think? Because, this year they had a couple of guys out. They had Rashid Rice join them late. Like, a couple of things that didn't go their way. A couple of the last 3-4 years, everyone accused the NFL of having the Chiefs on script and everything planned, and it just seemed like this year was almost the opposite year for them. Like, the bounces didn't go their way. They weren't able to pull off fourth quarter comebacks. Mahomes threw a couple of key picks when in the past those would have been completions for a first down and they would have kept the drive alive. Like, you watch the game last week against the Chargers. He throws that pick at the end, ends their game. A couple of weeks ago, same thing. I believe that was against the Bills. Throws a pick, and that was uncharacteristic of him and his team. Is this the end of Travis Kelce? I mean, he's still a productive guy. I don't think they could pay him what they extended him to. Does Travis Kelce take a complete pay cut and say, listen, I just want to stay in Kansas. My wife is a multi-trillionaire. I don't need the money. Or is this a pride thing? And he says, well, I got to get paid what I get paid. And I want to go somewhere where I can get paid.
That's where it gets tough for a general manager. I mean, at this point, really, it feels like they've become an old team. The chemistry is dying off. Some of the star players aren't quite the stars they used to be. And the general manager is going to have to make some really tough calls. I love Kelce. The guy's amazing. But if he's not going to step down and retire or restructure a contract to allow the next guy in, yeah, he's still productive, but he's not the Kelce that could take the team on his back offensively like he used to be.
He
Patrick
definitely
Mahomes is.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kelce definitely looked like a different type of swagger, especially in the games they lost. Like he had I forgot what game it was where he had a bunch of drops, and there was a drop that literally the ball was in his hands and he let it go and it went for an interception. I think that was 2 weeks ago against the Bills. He just looked like a different cat this year.
Now
he's got a lot going on
in the playoffs. Like he's a leading touchdown receiver in the NFL history. At the position, and maybe I think I've actually about all receivers. The guy's a stud, and he can still have those spectacular performances. But at a certain point, he can't do that week in and week out. If you can keep a guy like him on the roster, fantastic. But you've got to find somebody else that you're going to pay the big bucks, because now he's no longer the guy that's going to draw the attention. You can cover him now. He's going to have his big games, but now you need somebody to take the attention off him so that he can be the plucky veteran.
Yeah, fair enough. Rob Evans thinks they're on the decline.
Quite frankly, too, a change of an offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, defensive coordinator. There's ways to continue to evolve and reinvent yourself, but this rendition is done.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I used to have that rule when I had my fantasy football was don't bet against Brady on the weekend. So whatever team Brady's on, or playing against, just pick Brady. And for the most time, it worked. And then for the last couple of years, it was the same. I had the same rule for Patrick Mahomes. This year, it didn't seem to be working, and the magic was gone. So they've got to refine that magic, whatever it is.
Mahomes that's why first thing I brought up, Brady had a ton of different offensive weapons over the years, and Mahomes is going to go through the same thing. The guy's brilliant. He sees the game at a different level, and he's a winner.
Yeah, and Brady had 7 Super Bowls over 16 years. We're not that deep into Mahomes' career just yet. So, he still has, like you said, many years left. Even Brady was injured a bunch of times and he came back and won. So I don't think they're done. But there's some teams on the rise that are looking good. And I mean, the Bills finally got the big gorilla out of the room, and that could potentially clear the path. But man, the Chargers are looking really good in the AFC. And then you look at the NFC, we got the Eagles looking great. The Rams look good. Mind you, they lost. Puka Nacua got hurt last week, and so did Devontae Adams. So I don't know how that looks. I'm not sure what the prognosis is, but the Jaguars are looking nice. So I don't know. It's definitely an interesting year.
Brock Purdy and the 49ers are looking pretty strong too.
49ers, the Broncos with Alex Singleton are looking good. So there's a lot going on there. Trey wants to pipe in with his Seahawks.
Yeah, jump in, Trey.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll happily jump in here. I think the Seahawks and the Rams game on Thursday is going to be like the biggest game of the year, because I think like whichever team wins will be the number 1 seed. Most likely.
Let me ask you: is Puka Nacua and Adams back, because they both got hurt last week?
I think Puka's playing, but I don't think Adams is.
So, but I mean, we're talking about Matt Stafford versus a 44-year-old Philip Rivers, and I don't think it's going to be the same result. I think we're going to have a lot. I watched those Rams a couple of weeks ago. They are a force. It's going to be tough.
They've played us already this year. We had a game-winning field goal that we missed, so like we played them close last time. I think it'll be a close game again. The Rams are an incredible team too. Like, it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. Then that's Thursday night. Where do we want to go next, Sheldon? We talked about.
I have one thing I want to say. Before we end it with the Rob Reiner stuff.
You want to talk about John Cena, right?
I do. I do want to talk about John Cena. And I don't know if you ended up watching it or not, Randy. I did send it to you on Saturday. But
I missed.
basically, John Cena had his last ever match in WWE,
So wait,
and
let's set this up. Let's set this up, Trey. He
okay,
had a farewell tour. So this year,
yes,
John Cena announced. How old is he? 49? Is he? No, he's older than. He's what?
I think
50?
50.
No, is he?
Yeah, I think he's in his 50s.
He's
He's like
older than
27.
me. He's got to be older than me because he was
He's
wrestling. Like, yeah.
48. He's 48.
Oh shoot, he's younger than me. Shoot, I thought I was okay. So he had his farewell tour. So this is basically a year of him going city to city wrestling. He was the ultimate baby face, which means he was the good guy forever when he wrestled before he left for a while. This year he had a bit of a heel turn, but I stopped following after the Cody Rhodes heel turn with The Rock and all that. So what's been happening, and then set us up for this last match on Saturday.
Okay, so yeah, he had the heel turn with The Rock, like you said, and then at SummerSlam this year, they turned him back face after. Apparently, they were supposed to have a match with The Rock and Travis Scott, and they both bailed, so it kind of messed up the heel turn a little bit. So they ended up
Okay.
turning him back to a baby face, and he's just been kind of going through the matches with all the old classics. I guess he had the match with CM Punk there, and Brock Lesnar when he came back, and AJ Styles. And
Any
then he
really
had
good matches that would like kind of go down in history as a great match, or were they all just kind of
I would
bum
say,
easy
yeah,
matches?
yeah, I would say the match that he had with Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam, they definitely redeemed themselves.
Okay,
That got a lot of 5-star ratings, and then the one with AJ Styles was also really good.
okay,
But yeah. Oh, and I guess he got the Grand Slam champion where he won all the belts. He beat Dom Mysterio for the Intercontinental belt like a month ago. But anyways,
okay,
they had this tournament for who's going to be his last opponent for like the
okay,
last month or so. And so there was like 32 guys or whatever, and they would wrestle on Raw and SmackDown, whatever. And it ended up being Gunther,
okay.
the German guy
Big German guy. Yeah.
yeah, big German guy there. And so yeah, they had like WWE versus NXT is like the first 4 matches. So John Cena really wanted to show like the future of the business, and that was his only request, I guess he said, for his last ever match was to, push forward the business. So they had like the developmental champions basically fight like Cody Rhodes, and the women's
Okay,
champion
okay.
and the tag team champions fought the
That's
WWE
cool.
tag team champions. So yeah, when they got to the end, it was Cena versus Gunther, and obviously they had like the tributes going the whole night, and they had all the stars were there, all the former wrestlers, and it was very touching, and they had a great intro, and he came out and hugged like 100 people before he got in the ring. It was a big deal. Everybody's chanting, "Let's go, Cena!" Had a great 25-minute match with Gunther, and yeah, he tapped out. He tapped out in his last ever match. It was a shock, I would say,
Wow.
to many. You could hear a pin drop.
Symbolic. It's symbolic.
I would say it's not, and I'm kind of pissed off about it. Shai, you want to
I'd
know?
be I'd be pissed off too. Let's hear why.
You want to know? You know what? You know why I'm pissed off? John Cena, sure, like, he was a little corny for a bit, but now I would say like in his later years, he's kind of cool. Um, and I always thought John Cena was like the never give up guy.
Mm.
And what the hell did he do in his last match? He gave up. And I think that's like the antithesis of what he stands for. And this guy goes out and does all the Make-A-Wish, and he's like kind of the poster boy for WWE. And what does that show to Jacob Kozak? This guy's supposed to never give
Yeah.
up, and he didn't for 20 years, and then his last ever match he gives up.
Yeah.
Or what about the dying kid of cancer who's 6 years old who doesn't know anything about this and sees Cena lose in his last match? So, anyways, it ended up being like a terrible like farewell at the end,
Yeah.
because he lost the match. People were shocked. They were booing. Gunther left, and then they had like all the active wrestlers who were backstage, and Triple H and the executives. They came out and like hugged him, and they put the belts on Cena at the end. And
Why do you think that was? Like,
they,
now what I just
yeah,
said was a really bad call, by the way, of passing. That's the worst way to pass the torch. You have to take the loss and then find some self-respect within it, or because you can't end on a win. Why do you think they settled on a tap out?
yeah, I don't know. Like, if we're gonna have Cena never give up, he's got to pass out. Like, that's the only way to have him
Yeah.
lose. He can't
Yeah,
be
fair
tapping.
enough.
He's got to go out and shield. I mean, yeah, it was a disaster. They ended up booing the ever living shit out
Was
of the
there
end of the
any
show.
was
And
there
yeah, it was
any
pretty bad.
aftermath, not after the show, but the next day comments or Cena come out with any comments about the show?
Oh
Like a lot
yeah,
of times
yeah. So
wrestling insiders talk about it. What was kind of the inside scoop on this match?
yeah, the whole thing was kind of weird. Like I remember when Sting retired a few years ago, and they had him win, and they had the confetti come down, and he got to do a speech after his last match, and it was like
Mhm.
everybody went home with a smile. And this was like he lost, he tapped out, everybody booed. They gave him like a little video at the end, and he put his hat and sweatbands
Wow.
and shoes in the ring,
So
and they
the heel
booed him
turn they
as
did,
he left, and it was just like, man, this sucks.
so
Hmm.
this would never have happened under Vince McMahon, and I know he's not a good dude, and I'm not trying to call for the resurrection of Vince McMahon, but the whole thing of bringing Cena back was such a massive opportunity. But it seems like even the heel turn was done poorly
Hmm.
when The Rock decided he didn't have the time, and whoever, like, I'm not following this, right? I'm just kind of reading on the, but a
Yeah, no,
lot
that's
of things kind of
basically
went
right.
wrong. It just fizzled out. It was like poor direction, poor writing. It's a shame that Cena had to go out that way.
It is. It is really a shame, and maybe he doesn't have to win his last match like that. I understand,
But he didn't
but
have
like
to tap out,
he
according to you.
smile, like you can kind of see in the picture there, he like smiles and gives it like a weak little tap. Like it
Yeah.
was just like
Yeah,
even
Yeah.
he
it's
was
interesting.
like,
I mean,
meh.
I remember when Bret Hart's time was done in WWE with the Montreal Screw Job, and that was a weird, controversial ending to his career in WWE, and things like that have happened before. Wrestling is definitely an unpredictable world. When you think they're going to do something, they do the opposite, and maybe that's was keeping par for the course when everyone thought he was going to either win or get beaten to a pulp. He taps out, and maybe that was the point, is that it's unpredictable. When you think you know what's going on, tune in next week because you don't know what's going on, and that could be the point. I'll tell you this: I skipped the whole John Cena generation as a wrestling fan. I left kind of like when the Rock and the Stone Cold era was done. I didn't really, but I gained appreciation for him as an actor. I've seen him in a number of movies. And I really think, when you talk about all these wrestlers that have become famous actors, like obviously The Rock is making big budget pictures and he stars in a lot of movies and stuff. But when I look at John Cena and some of the parts he's played, I think about Ricky Stenicki is a great comedy.
Yeah.
When I think about his role as Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad and how perfectly cast he is for that, like, he is actually a really great actor, and I've come to appreciate him as a personality in this next generation of his life, whereas I missed him as the wrestler, and I'm not really paying attention to his farewell tour. So, I mean, kudos to him. He's managed to create two great careers, like Dave Bautista, like The Rock, and transition from wrestling to Hollywood, and however it ended, it was already done years ago, and this was just a nice way to say goodbye to the fans. And yeah, probably guys like you that grew up on John Cena, never giving up, probably hate the way it ended, just like the Hulkamaniacs hate the way Hogan's career ended. But in the end, it ends for everyone, and it doesn't always end the way we wish it would happen or they wish it would happen. So but cool that they did that, and nice to see him getting his flowers from all his colleagues for sure.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the end of like a big era. I mean, I don't think there's any other wrestler now that WWE's employed that's like such a household name.
I think
I don't know.
Roman Reigns was the guy they tried to give
Yeah,
the
they
title,
tried.
but he has no personality.
Yeah,
Like
he's not. It's not the same.
And
Yeah,
guys, and I'll tell you what too, like, say again, Vince McMahon, not a good guy. He's out. Can it ever be the same? Because sometimes we don't like the people that are in charge. Sometimes they're just bad dudes, but talent is talent. And I'm curious if the WWE will ever regain a spot in pop culture that it once had.
Yeah,
I think
I
it'll
don't
go through
know.
its highs and lows.
You think you're just a star away? You think you can find another star and
Yeah,
and a storyline? And you
I
think
think the hard
so,
thing
yeah.
is to find someone that's talented, professional, and committed. because it does appear, and again, I see some of these wrestling podcasts, and I was just looking at something today. Dungeon Wrestling has got a promotion coming up January 9th, and we've talked to Dallas Hart, talking about his, and they're doing something with the Hitman, but they're doing their own promotion. And at that promotion, I believe there's a match between Desi, who used to be Jinder Mahal for WWE, and this other guy that was in WWE. What's the name of is it Riddle? Johnny Riddle, he's the guy with the long hair.
Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle,
Matt Riddle.
And he wrestled with no shirt and no shoes, and he was an up and coming star, like a rising guy, and people were like behind this guy. But then he gets kicked out of WWE. What is he doing? Cocaine, smoking, and it's hard for these guys to stay on the rails. And I gotta assume if you're a guy that's not straight laced, but you go about your job professionally and you commit to it like a professional, you have a big chance of becoming a star. But a lot of these guys, they get addicted to that high, fast lifestyle. I mean, they're good looking people to start with. They're going from city to city. It's kind of like the football thing, right? If you get sucked up in the party lifestyle, it'll eat you up. And in wrestling, they're on the road 360 days a year, almost, some of those guys. And it's hard to be disciplined and to stay away from that. So when you find a guy like John Cena or The Rock, or these guys that are true professionals, they last. But, it's almost like they weed themselves out. And to find that next guy, yeah, for sure, it'd be tough. But I'm sure he's out there. Whatever the shtick is, the gimmick is, when it catches, and they're going to have their guy because they have to have their guy. There's always a guy that shows up, because wrestling fans want there to be a guy, right? And when it wasn't Hogan, it was the Warrior. And when it wasn't the Warrior, it was Stone Cold. And if it wasn't Stone Cold, it was Bret Hart and The Rock. And generationally, there's always a guy that's going to show up that gets the crown and says, hey, this is my time. It's just got to be the right guy in the right time. And maybe now that they put this guy to bed, maybe it's another guy's turn.
Yeah, that's we'll leave it on that one for that. And I think you're right. It's like the writers are going to show up as long as the fans are driving it. As long as there's fans out there, they're going to find a way to give them what they want. You brought up though John Cena and his transition to Hollywood, which he's had a few good ones, just like The Rock has made just as much fame off of Hollywood as he did in the wrestling ring. This week, a big loss. Rob Reiner. Murdered, and Rob Reiner and his wife, longtime wife, murdered by their own son, going through with a history of mental issues, drug. It's absolutely tragic and very, very sad. But as I was looking at it, like I was like, well, Rob Reiner, who's he? I know the name's familiar. I look back at the movies that he made. Dude, this guy is one of the most diverse film guys out there ever. I mean, titles from Stand By Me to Spinal Tap to Few Good Men to Misery to like when
Princess
Harry
Bride,
rom-com Princess Bride. Just some thoughts on Rob Reiner. Do you guys, when we talk about Rob Reiner and you look at the collection of work that this guy put out, anything that stands out to you? Do you have a favorite film that Rob Reiner put out?
I do. And you know what it is? It's not one that he put out. It's one that he's in. The Wolf of Wall Street. He's Jordan Belfort's dad.
Yeah.
And he is so freaking funny in that movie. I still quote some of the things that he says in that movie when he's getting Jordan in trouble for spending, $460,000 on the dinner and the sides that cure cancer and the prostitution ring and oh god, that's one of the funniest scenes.
His comedic timing was so good, even as an actor. Like just the way he played that role as a dad was like amazing, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it's such a good movie. But one that he directed, I had to go back and look and see which ones he directed. And the only two that I think I'd seen was Princess Bride and Few Good Men. And I like both of those movies. So
Princess Bride, another connection to wrestling, Andre the Giant. And that was one of the greatest movies. Few Good Men, you want the truth, you can't handle the truth. When Harry Met Sally is like one of the first and most best rom-coms that people will always I don't know if you remember, she had the orgasm.
Ride Me Sheldon. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, so everybody remembers that scene was, but yeah, he's been part of and made a lot of movies. Really sad, really tragic. I mean, I didn't click on any news stories. I mean, it's pretty tragic to start with. Does anyone ever like drive in the car and say, like, you hear a story like that where, mom and dad killed by their son, stabbed to death? Anyone ever driving in their car saying like, could that happen to me? How could that happen? Like, you do you ever like think like for a second, like how does that happen?
Bro, for sure you think about that.
Oh,
And
I
the
hope my
truth is,
parents don't.
no, but I mean, you got
you don't think it's necessarily going to happen to you, but you think about how does that, you think about as a parent, what had to have gone through. And I'll tell you what, Chev, it's interesting you bring that up. I'm going to say right now, I don't know much about the family. I just know his film.
Yeah, no, same.
They probably
same.
have a bunch of kids, or they probably have a few kids. I believe him
Yeah.
and his wife have been together forever.
Yeah.
You see it sometimes you can do everything right. And I'm not saying they did. They might have done lots of things wrong.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, all parents have done lots of things wrong.
For sure. But that's why it makes you question a little bit, being like, could I have done something?
Sometimes you have a kid that for whatever reason didn't get what he needed, whether it was a just mentally not aligned, went through some hard times, went through the addiction that changed him, undiagnosed mental trauma. It's easy to say that the parents were to blame, because in a lot of cases you see it and you look at it, it's like, yeah, well, the parents obviously screwed up on that one. Maybe they did, I don't know. But even as screwed up a job as parents can do, not many kids end up like this. Something seriously went wrong with this individual. I mean, he got in a weird conversation and confrontation with Bill Hader the night that he that he killed his mom and his dad. I mean, the guy was not right. Whose fault it was, who knows? At the end of the day, is one of those things that happened. Mental illness, drugs, the fact that the parents still had him living at home. I would like to think that they did everything possible to get him out of the situation he is. He even made a movie about the situation when his son was cleaning up. It seemed like a lot of things were going well for him, but those ghosts, man.
You know what?
Are hard to get rid of.
I gotta pause here for a second, because this is a little crazy, and I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the news on this. Like, have you been kind of paying attention? Like, I haven't been clicking on news stories, but it's obviously been everywhere, right? And Rob Reiner passed away, and obviously tragic. And I always say Rob Reiner, but his wife was, and I'm just looking this up, and I didn't realize that because I'm like everyone else. I read the headlines, and I, like I said, I didn't click on the stories. His wife was Penny Marshall, and that name, if you're a movie buff, you're gonna freak out at just how much talent got lost, because Penny Marshall was not only an actor, but she directed some unbelievable movies. Like, this is the list of movies she's directed, and I've watched a lot of these. So these are probably almost as poignant as Rob Reiner, like Jumping Jack Flash with Whoopi Goldberg. You remember that one, Sheldon, back in the 80s?
Yeah, it was
Big, starring Tom Hanks. She directed Awakenings with Robin Williams. That was an unbelievable movie. Robin Williams and Robert De Niro. A League of Their Own. Gina Davis, Madonna, Tom Hanks. The Preacher's Wife, she directed. She directed what's the other one? What else did she do?
Honestly, right, just like him, you're going from big comedy, Tom Hanks early in his career. Awakenings was one of the most fantastic films ever made. That thing stayed, you thought about that forever. And then A League of Their Own with, again, Tom Hanks. Yeah, very talented.
Are we saying that Penny Marshall passed away? Because it was not Penny Marshall that he's married to.
Oh God! Come on, Chev.
It's Michelle Reiner.
Oh, well, why does it say Penny Marshall? Oh, wait, I'm going back.
They were married, but that was his first wife.
Oh, that was his first wife. Oh, well, okay. So Penny Marshall's still alive. Well, there you go. We're good.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
We're
I'm
good.
sorry to.
No,
thank you. Yeah, because I was about. Yeah, there you go.
Trey, you know what? Listen, Trey. Listen, Trey. You can't get us started on time, but you fact check us when we go off the rails, and that's what's important. That's more important than starting on time, is getting it right. So Penny Marshall is still alive, and the good thing is,
Penny Marshall passed away in 2018.
Oh, did she die too? Jesus!
So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your bubble there too.
You know,
Jamin's fact checking us here too. Thanks, Jamin. Yeah, we're on that.
Thank you, Jamin. Thank you.
So we did lose both of them. God, that's terrible.
Man,
well, you know what? As bad as I can mess up, no one could mess up more than Donald Trump, who in his words of I don't know if they were, he basically, it was a backhanded tribute with
Yeah.
with a mean slight.
Never liked the guy. The guy was a very bad person. Didn't like his movies, but God rest his soul.
That's what he
terrible.
said.
Well,
It was Trump was being Trump.
Trump was
And
being
you know what? Like the people have been, it was kind of disgusting. Like Trump will never take the high road against any. Reiner was a huge critic of Trump's.
Oh,
But Trump has never shown grace to anybody. That's
Yeah,
ever
no
opposed
chance
him.
that
So
ever
if you'd like to hear,
Yeah.
this is what Donald Trump said. He said, a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie and comedy star, has just passed, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace.
Dude, like, come on. If he would have just taken that first sentence, matched it with the last sentence, that he would have some grace and some class.
That was like real. He actually, that's not AI.
Oh no,
no, it's Truth
that's
Social. Trey.
Reiner has he did have TDS. The guy hated Trump, and he was not silent about it. He spent his last 10, 15 years making movies, commentary, and everything against Trump, as is his right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, for me, I try not to judge people by their politics. If you're a good actor and a good director, I like your films. Trump doesn't. Hey, here, I'll add one thing to that. When Charlie Kirk was murdered, a lot of people came out, including high profile people, and said, no, not as bluntly despicable things, but very despicable things about maybe he deserved it. They got all this stuff.
Yeah.
Rob Reiner came out on the Piers Morgan show and says Charlie and our politics could not be more different. That it's not possible to be more different. If I think about what happened to him, it was horrible. It was a tragedy. This should never happen to anybody based on their beliefs. And he called out the evilness of the murder. That was if you're a Trump supporter, which in a lot of cases I am, I look at a guy like Rob Reiner and said, I disagree with you politically, but you had a lot of class. When tragedy happens, that's when you really see what a person's made of. I think Rob Reiner had a very classy move in that. Trump's got to check himself. That was way out of line.
He's turning people off. I mean, he's the president of the United States. He's not supposed to be a nut job, whack job that literally has no filter. And unfortunately, that's, every day he proves that that's what he is. And Trey, just so you know, that's why Mick Foley today decided he's cutting all ties with the back to wrestling. Mick Foley decided he is leaving WWE. So any type of sponsorship deal he has with them, he's basically taking a cut. You said it in our chat today. This affects nothing because Foley hasn't wrestled, but he appears on these Legends video games, signings, whenever they have and he said, I'm not going to associate myself with the WWE anymore because they continually tie themselves.
You could take it political like that, but anybody can take that anywhere. A lot of disgusting things are said by a lot of disgusting people.
Yeah, but again, this was his
politics out of it.
Yeah, but this was his line in the sand. This was, he's not
Foley's line in the sand.
What I'm saying, it's like he's only hurting himself. Like but that's his stand. This is for him to say, you know what, I can't do it anymore, and he just decided he can't stand it. In fact, that was his comment. It was a Popeye comment. I think he says at some point they decides I can't stand.
Can't stands no more.
Yeah.
Bernie says thanks again, guys. Have a good night. Jamin says too soon.
One more thing. Jamin sent me this during the show, and we've kind of ended on a poopy note.
Let's go there.
I got a funny thing that he sent us that I said I would share. So
okay.
1 second here.
Then I'm going to apologize for my misinformation about Penny Marshall.
Dude, you have me like upset.
Well, she is dead, so you could still be upset because I didn't know. But
I
drew
haven't
attention.
seen this yet. Let's see this. Edmonton.
Okay,
will never
let's go.
forget you, Stuart.
Oh, is this a tribute to him? Oh boy.
Okay, here we go.
Oh God.
You sure those aren't Mike Smith videos?
74. All right, that's the same. That's the same 4 plays.
All
being
right.
shown over and over again.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that was good, Jamin. Thanks for sending that one in. That was fun.
Thanks, Jamin. Good
I'm
way
not
to end
gonna
it.
hate.
guys.
I'm not
miss
going to
you,
hate on
Stu.
Skinner too
We'll
bad.
miss
I
you,
hope he has a
Stu,
great
yeah.
career. His development was rushed, and he played more games in goal in the NHL than I ever did. So, wish him the best.
He'll be missed, but they did light him up today, so that did bring a little smile to my face tonight, I'd say.
Chevy, send us off.
Well, guys, thanks so much. I guess next week is Christmas episode, so we're gonna do a little Christmas tribute, ugly Christmas sweaters. Get some of the guys on the show that listen. We should have invited them earlier, but let's do that next week, right before the holidays, and then we'll take a week break. Okay, what time are we starting next week, guys? What
10
time is on time?
p.m.
10 p.m. All right, Trey, let's hit the buttons the right way.
Okay, I'll set us off. Set us off the right way this time.
Over there. Let's go. Sticky
Go
fingers.
Oilers too, by the
Right
way.
on.
Draisaitl 1,000 points. Woo!
Love you all.
We couldn't turn around till we were upside down. I'll be the bad guy now, but no, I ain't too proud.